everybody, and welcome to Pomeroy Art Academy's Breakfast Club. I'm your instructor, John Pomeroy, and for this Breakfast Club, we're going to talk about impacts. What happens when a character hits a hard surface? I've got an example of a scene that I did. This is of the character Timon, who was Disney produced a series of safety shorts called Wild About Safety. And in this scene, Timon is arrogantly on his cell phone telling offstage Pumbaa, I know exactly what I'm doing, I know exactly where I'm going, and while he is preoccupied with looking at his phone messages, he walks into a brick wall. So here's the drawing of him walking. There is a wall coming up, and boom, he splats. And we have a good example there of squash and stretch and impact. And then he recovers, very dazed, and waddles back and forth until finally he collapses back on himself. Let's take a look at the rough pencil test. So in examining the action that happens here, and of course it's always fun to do this kind of animation. It's the zany part of animating. We go from the default position of where he is looking at his phone, he's preoccupied. We see an oncoming wall. He doesn't, we see it, and then smash. And the force combined with the hardness of the object that he is smashing into causes an enormous squash. I'm just going to darken these lines just a little bit. The shoulders go up. Shoulders go up. The body compresses. The tail compresses. The fur and arms actually wrap around the sides of the wall. His arm shoots out. So for this action, there is an equal opposite reaction where you're feeling the compression. Hard wall, energy and momentum going in this direction, and there's the impact. And it's a squash. Now, in reaction to that, his body bounces away from there. Now we get into things like leading actions, which are important. So he compresses. We have what in animation we call this where the body goes from this to this. We call that a reversal. So his backbone reverses, and then it bounces back. The shoulder is leading the rest of the body. And then you're feeling the energy pulling this portion of the body back in that direction. And everything else is dragging behind. We have the face. We have fur right there that's dragging behind. We have the arm. The tail is even dragging behind a little bit. But this force is pulling all of this bulk in the opposite direction. His tongue is dragging, his muzzle is, everything is dragging behind. We're feeling that force of his shoulder recoiling, bouncing off the wall. And then after that happens, it gathers up, and then the chest at some point, which is following the shoulder, will recover and start to go in the opposite direction. But the head is going one way, chest is going the other. And so we have overlapping action. The Head is going this way, chest is going that way. And he's going to sway back and forth in reaction because he's just been knocked senseless by the impact of running into this wall. His eyes are wall-eyed slightly from the hit. He's basically unconscious on his feet. The hand has now stopped traveling in the opposite direction, is now going in the same direction as the head. And then at some point, he reaches the end of that swing. The head will reach the end of that pattern of action, and so will the hand. And then we still have the head is going in that direction while the body has settled right about here. The tail is still going in this direction. The tongue is still dragging behind. So we have overlapping actions going on back and forth as he continues to sway back and forth as he settles from the impact. And eventually, he's going to fall over. And we'll do this back and forth action maybe 2 or 3 times before finally, boom, he falls back. So here, his head now is moving in this direction. His back is starting to move in the opposite direction. So there's this nice overlap. Both the head, the shoulders, and the body are not moving all at the same rate, because if they did, you'd get something that looked very stiff and mechanical. What has to happen here is you have to break up the action so they overlap with each other. So as the body is moving in one direction, the head is dragging and then finally catches up. And you've got this lovely overlap. It makes it very fluid, very fun to watch. Here the head, on drawing 83, the head is moving forward again. And the body, this part of the back is still moving in the opposite direction. So those things are going to happen until they finally come together, and then there'll be a rest, and then he's going to fall over. He will continue to settle. And also there's a nice thing that's happening with the head. There's some nice overlapping action as he is going back and forth. Going back to the impact, it's really important that you set up with a nice default position. It's like the ball, as it is coming down, it almost stretches a little bit before the impact of hitting. So you want to make sure you have all your volumes correct and you really feel the impact, the squash, and that there is an explosion that happens. Everything is compressing here, but there are elements that are also, like the arm gets thrown out. Some of the chest fur gets thrown out. The tail compresses in on itself. All of these little chain reactions caused by the energy of him moving forward, combined with the solid hardness of this brick wall that he runs into. And then we go from a squash, which is what this is, right here, to a stretch, where everything is shooting back in the opposite direction and other things are being dragged behind. So we've got those components, those basic animation principles: squash and stretch, overlapping action, and drag. And then, of course, a very important thing too, while you're animating something like that, And it's easy to go haywire with your shapes, but you want to maintain your volumes. Even though it's squashing and stretching, it's always maintaining the same weight, the same volume, almost like a water balloon that you would hold in your hand. Whereas that water balloon is 1 quart. No matter how much you stretch it or squash it, it will always remain 1 quart. So anyway, there are some good tips for how you can get a good impact, whether it's a character being hit by something, character walking into a wall, whatever that may be. These are some pointers that would help you animate a good impact on your character. And I enjoy teaching you this Breakfast Club, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.